Hello dear friends. Opinion piece. The storm is over. Red October ended in pink. Calm comes after storm. La Palma tsunami won't happen. Major threats have been deflected. Galactic pulse expected in near future. New wave of female energy will change the world. Great reset plans doomed to failure. We just have to hold on a little longer and resist the siege. October's critical astrological configurations have already passed. Positives will not move before all threats are removed. Let's start. October's tormented storm has passed. Red October ended in pink after passing through scarlet. Now the most critical astrological configurations of October has passed, and all major threats have been deflected, as just revealed by contactee Cobra in his latest updated message of November 1st, posted on the portal 2012 portal of the Intelligence Center of the Victory of Light. There is a lot of activity below the surface of the planet at this time, but all must remain classified. It's also Cobra's opinion that the La Palma tsunami will not happen. It's hard to say whether the Canary Islands volcano problem is a walk the dog set up to keep us focused on something that doesn't matter, while what is really going on goes unnoticed and unreported. Walk the dog is an expression to imply the act of creating smoke screens, that is to say, distracting. For example, reports of refugees dying en route to the Canary Islands from Western Sahara. Can anyone explain why refugees would go towards a place with a violently erupting volcano when there are other safer alternatives available? Grid pattern. Also, the grid pattern of earthquakes at Cumbre Vieja looks like evidence of something odd. Are those just sensors on the volcano placed in a grid pattern? Has any geologist or volcanologist explained what is going on there? Personally, I have little doubt that the weather and earthquakes can be manipulated. The recent eruption on the Canary Island of La Palma has spurred speculation that the volcano could collapse, creating tsunamis that would devastate the east coast of North and South America. But such is a scenario possible or likely? Volcanologists know that an eruption began at La Palma on September 19th. The eruption style is similar to Hawaiian eruptions, and both sides share the potential for flank collapse and tsunamis. Much progress has been made in tsunami modeling. Studies of landslide-induced waves show that they travel at different speeds and interact more over long distances, leading to lower wave heights away from their sources. It also contributed to more accurate modeling, a better understanding of ocean bathymetry, island and coastal topography, and energy transfer between landslide blocks and water. These new simulations suggest that the maximum wave height along the east coast of the Americas from a west case collapse of La Palma would be on the order of 1 to 2 meters, still dangerous, but similar to the common storm surge. The lack of geological evidence also calls into question the mega tsunami hypothesis. Tsunamis leave characteristic sediment deposits on the coasts they impact, but no such deposit has ever been identified on the eastern coasts of North and South America. And the risk. Stephen Ward and Simon Day, in a 2001 research paper, proposed that the change in the eruptive activity of the Cumbre Vieja volcano and a fracture in the volcano that formed during an eruption in 1949 could be the prelude of a giant collapse. They estimated that such a collapse could cause tsunamis throughout the North Atlantic and severely impact areas as far away as North America. Subsequent research has debated whether the tsunami would still be of significant size away from La Palma, since the tsunami wave can decay rapidly in height away from the source, and interactions with continental shelves could further reduce its size. Evidence indicates that most collapses in the Canary Islands occurred as a multi-stage events that are not as effective in creating tsunamis. The recurrence rate of similar collapses is extremely low, 1 every 100,000 years or less. In the case of the Canary Islands, other volcanoes around the world are also at risk of causing this type of tsunami. The Big Reset. Cobra also believes that the plans for the Great Reset are doomed to fail more than ever. We just have to hold on a little longer and resist the siege. Behind the scenes, on the surface of the planet, the forces of light are eliminating the exotic scalar weapons that are creating the veil. The planet was surrounded by an artificial machinery that prevents access to certain higher forces, higher frequencies, and maintains collective mind control through a controlling frequency fence. These frequency fences are the mind control fields that propagate and feed the anti-life structures that feed the imposter spirit entities, and their circulatory system called the Black Hat of Anubis. These fences have affected and controlled the evolution of human consciousness for thousands of years. Frequency fences are used to disconnect the DNA codes and block the high frequencies of the Earth population, manipulated to control perception and what an individual can experience through their 5 basic human senses. Frequency fences are composed of nanotechnology, big wave architecture, geoengineering, bioengineering, space fence, etc. When we intend to raise our frequency of consciousness and embody higher levels of spiritual identity, this raises our fundamental light body frequency and moves us out of range of frequency barrier transmissions in a wide variety of bio-neurological blockage. The Nibiru electrostatic transduction field was anchored on Earth using the Nibiru crystal temple grid during the Luciferian rebellion 25,500 years before Christ. An interference pattern or electrostatic force field was created that enveloped the Earth by impacting scalar sonic pulses into the Earth's internal grid system. This grid has the effect of stopping incoming and outgoing signals from higher dimensions, creating a kind of quarantine. It covers civilization, isolating it from its natural connections to its inner consciousness and spiritual levels, and this field system naturally interacts with human existence and constitutes a holographic insert. The dark side's surveillance of the crystal families is also blocked due to the masking and coding effect, which causes false readings. Many starseeds are here to be on the ground for reconnaissance work. It is said to be an astral disorder, this web of fourth dimensional astral plane addictions and the matrix of false ascension. The system was fortified in 9558 before Christ and has been blocking all natural communications to and from Earth ever since. Preparations were made by the Anunnaki to lower the grid from the astral plane onto physical matter, which then forms a frequency fence for mind and control of the population during the year 2000 to 2017 ascension cycle. These black hole technologies were created in the Atlantis cataclysm to keep Earth and its life forms on a prison planet. The fields also keep DNA locked down. Galactic pulse. Our galactic central sun is showing signs of increased activity on the non-physical planes in response to a non-physical and non-local cosmic quantum pulse of light. This is expected to increase until a major galactic pulse wave occurs in the near future. This new activity from the galactic center is already changing the quantum structure of the solar system vacuum, and there is more and more luminous superfluid plasma bringing pure light into our solar system. Our universe is a living entity and is learning. According to Vitaly Vanchurin, professor of physics at the University of Minnesota, physics is stagnant. We haven't had significant new theoretical breakthroughs in decades. If we treat the world as a neural network that is in the process of learning, then we can better understand quantum gravity, quantum computing, and consciousness. The idea of using artificial neural networks for machine learning comes from biology. But if the universe is a neural network, then we can return the favor and use machine learning to study, for example, biological evolution, writes Vitaly Vanchurin. The main lesson of our universe now is to completely transform all gross primary anomalies, and the current state of cosmic quantum vacuum will change to a new, more stable state of equilibrium without darkness. Galactic pulse. Unable to support this high frequency is the remaining fleet of Chimera in the Kuiper belt, which arrived in our solar system from Orion in 1996. Most of those spacecraft were cleared and the rest escaped much closer to Earth, beyond the lunar orbit between 1 and 10 million miles from Earth, where they could be temporarily safe for a few weeks. When the presence of luminous superfluid light plasma in our solar system is strong enough, the light forces will begin to build two Dyson spheres wrapped with Galactic Federation motherships in icosahedral formation. These Dyson spheres will have a diameter of about 15 to 20 million miles and will regulate flow of energies from the galactic superwave and event flash. The first Dyson sphere will be built around the Sun and the second around the Earth, and they will ensure a gradual two-phase translation of the incoming cosmic energies to the surface population. Definition. A Dyson sphere is a megastructure proposed in 1960 by physicist Freeman Dyson in a Science magazine article called Search for Artificial Stellar Sources of Infrared Radiation. Such a Dyson sphere is a spherical shell of astronomical size around a star, for example with a radius equivalent to that of a planetary orbit, which would allow an advanced stabilization to take full advantage of the star's light and thermal energy. A star contained in a Dyson sphere will not be directly visible, although the sphere itself would generate infrared radiation equivalent to the energy generated by the star, due to the heating of its internal phase. In addition, being composed of solid bodies, the Dyson sphere would have a spectrum similar to that of black body. Feminine energy. The increased activity of the galactic central sun has also resulted in a new influx of goddess energy to the planet. Isis regained her crown after more than 200 years of dormancy, and as a result of this new influx, a very important goddess vortex is being reactivated in Europe, the location of which must remain veiled for now. In addition, the dual Paris-Versailles goddess vortex is being restructured and prepared for a new level of activity in December. As part of this restructuring, the energy of the rose goddess is being anchored in Versailles. After 2 years of restoration, Marie Antoinette's private garden, abandoned in the 19th century, was open to the public. This new wave of feminine energy will bring the return of the Miradorian priestesses and a revival of hymns to the goddess. In the Orthodox Christian traditions of the Miriam forest, are the women mentioned in the New Testament who were directly involved in the burial of Jesus or who discovered the empty tomb that followed the resurrection of Jesus. The term myrrh of force refers to the women who carry myrrh to Christ's tomb early in the morning and found the tomb empty. Claim. A claim has been made. The white noble families, many of whom have connections to the lineages of the goddess Grail, are also the rightful owners of the historical assets, the golden fleece, and the collateral accounts. This claim against the families of the black nobility will be enforced through the positive forces and will cause them to become bankrupt. The positive militia will protect the distribution of assets to humankind and oversee the payment system. The plan to bankrupt the black nobility is called the 6900 series of collapse protocols. The positives will not move before all external and subway threats are eliminated, and most exotic weapons are removed from the surface. To delay this process, they want to awaken the military. The Illuminati network is also very active in the military and needs to be exposed. The dark side wants to prevent their bankruptcy with a big reboot or big restart and with a new Ponzi scheme. Part of the plans of the Great Restart is also a slow collapse of the old infrastructure to rebuild theirs. Pleiadians. Pleiadians are increasing their presence near the planet's surface. Pleiadians are also contacting musicians, again, inspiring their music, and they did it in the previous wave of Pleiadian contact in the early to mid-1980s, where they were inspiring some of the disco music. There was even a song predicting the defeat of artificial intelligence. There is also a Facebook group called Pleiadian Disco. Pleiadian myths are now being rebuilt, and more of a true history of planet Earth and the universe. Victory of light. Thanks a lot, dear friends.